Hello friend, welcome back. In this video, I want to discuss about another module as a HTTP module. Okay, right now here we don't need this. I clean it, and also better I remove everything. Okay, from our index.js I remove everything, and now in this video I want to discuss about another module. I have already discussed about that FS module. Now there is another module as a HTTP. Okay, HTTP. So by the name you already know what exactly that will be do. It will be actually created one of the server. Okay, I show you like here. For first time we have to take it. Better I take one of the variable with the constant variable. Okay, I take one of the constant variable. I name it as a HTTP. Okay, and then we have to import it. Okay, you have to import that HTTP module. If you want to import, that will be the same with the required, and with this required here we have to take our name. Our name will be as a HTTP. Okay, so that is our one of the module. Now I want to run it. Okay, I want to run it. That means here better I take another constant variable. I just name it as a server. Okay, I want to run on the server. So then you have to do that will be as a HTTP, and with this HTTP then there have another method as a create server. Okay, there is another function as a create server. Okay, and that is one of the function, and into this function area here we have to pass one of the listener. Okay, you can see that is also suggested as a request listener. Here I want to pass one of the listener. Okay, and to pass one of the listener, and this listener there is a request listener that have the two parameter. One is the request parameter, another is the response. So request parameter will be pass all that your incoming messages, and with the response that will be response your server. Okay, so I pass two of this parameter. One is the request. Okay, one is the request, and also want to pass another parameter here as a response. Okay, I simply pass both of these, and then that is our listener function. I simply create it. Okay, so that is our function. Great. So now I want to when this server will be run, I want to display some of the message into the console log. Okay, into the console. Okay, console log. Into this console log I want to run one of the message, and then that will be display as a server is running. Okay, server is now running. Okay, so then that will be display this type of the message. It will be displayed in our console log area. So now I want to do here, now if you want to run this server, we have to allocate our server port. So our server port will be, I want to do that will be as a server, and this server there is another method as a listen method. Okay, there is a listen method. So now with this method area, what type of port you want to access? Like for education purpose, I want to access as a 3000 port. Okay, so then that will be our 3000 port. And now if you want to check it here, I want to better click as a save all, and here I want to run our npm. Okay, that means npm run server. Okay, so I make it as a npm run server. So then our server will be executed. I click as enter. Okay, now our server should be running, and here you can see spelling mistake, npm run server. npm run server, because enter. Now our server is now running. You can see our server is now running. So now I want to run our this port as a 3000 port. Okay, now if you go to your browser, and here I want to write down as a localhost, and localhost as a 3000. Now click as a enter. Now that it's not getting any request. Okay, here I didn't pass any request, but if you now go to our console log, that means in our terminal, into the terminal here you can see it's now display as a server is now running. Okay, so now our server is now running, because here I'm actually pass some of the message. When this request will be executed, then this message should be displayed as a server is now running, and you can see it's now display as a server is now running. So now that is loading. You can see it's now loading. Because of all here it's not get any response. So now I want to pass some of the response. If you want to pass some of the response, you can also pass it from here, like after this. Okay, after this, because here I have already passed two of this parameter. There is another parameter as a response. Now with this response we can actually pass some of the HTML tag, the file, everything you can actually pass it. Like I show you with this response, I want to do there is another method as an AND method. Okay, now with this AND method, here if you pass some of the message as a hi Aryan, okay, then that will be displayed. Now if you click as a save all, and now if our server is now running, you can see it's now display as a server is now running, and if you go there, you can see it's now display as a hi Aryan. Okay, so that is our port. And also if you want to add some of the HTML tag, you can also add some of the HTML tag. Like here I want to add one of the h1 tag. Okay, h1 tag. And then I want to close this h1 tag. Okay, that will be as the h1 tag is closed. Now if you click as a save all, our server is now again running, and if you now go, now refresh it, now you can see there is a h1 tag is visible. If you also want to check it with the inspect, into this inspect, you can see there is one of the h1 tag. Okay friend, I hope everything is very much clear to you. And also if you want to pass some of the type, that means which type of data is that, you can also pass it from here. Like I show you, then there is another method. Okay, with this response there is another method as a write head. Okay, write, that is a write head. You can see there is actually one of the method as a write head method. So into this write head method, like here we have to pass that is our status code. That means which type of status code is that. There is a 200, that means that is a perfect. They have the 401 or 4. There are a lot of the status code. If you search into the Google, you will get a lot of the status code. Okay, like right now I make it as a 200. 200 status code means that is actually perfect. Okay, it's perfectly working. And also after that, here I want to pass the type. Okay, which type of content is that? If you want to pass it, then here we have to pass on the object data, and in this object I name it as a content. Okay, content, and there is a content, and content I make it as a content type. Okay, type. So content type, and content type I want to make it as a text. Okay, so text, and that is one of the HTML content, so I make it as a HTML. Okay, so now if you click as a if you want to check it, now that should be the same, because that is one of the HTML content, right? So now that should be the same. Click as a save all, and now if you go click as a refresh, now you can see it's the same. But here I want to change it, like I make it as a plain. Okay, that is not that HTML. This text I make it as a plain. Okay, I make it as a plain. So now that is one of the plain text. If you make it as a plain text, now that should be display our total things. Like I show you, if you go click as a refresh, now you can see it's now display like that way, because that is one of the plain text. For the reasons it's not get content type. I hope friend you get some of the idea. That is our, you can pass some of the type, you can pass that status code. So if you make it as again as HTML, okay, HTML, and then if you click as a save all, so that is one of the HTML code. Now that should be run as a HTML code. Great. Okay, I hope everything is very much clear to you. So thanks for watching. I will see you in the next video.